Hello and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Tuesday, the 11th of August. I'm your host Daniel, and today we're going to talk about Sweden has broken up an alleged Russian spy plot, Russia has banned anti-war party from the vote, and US court has cleared social media harm lawsuits. So basically, social media companies can now be sued. So firstly, Sweden's security service says that it has broken up an alleged Russian intelligence operation on Swedish soil, detaining suspects linked to Moscow's services. The disruption follows a wider surge in Russian espionage, sabotage, and proxy recruitment across the Nordic region since Sweden joined NATO in 2024. Stockholm has repeatedly warned that it now ranks among Russia's top priority targets for hybrid activity in Northern Europe. So what? Russia almost certainly is intensifying its intelligence collection against NATO's newest northern members just due to their proximity and historical, threats against the country. I think further disrupted plots across both the Nordic and Baltic states over the coming year is highly likely, especially following on from this. It's possible that Swedish intelligence will be able to garner a significant amount of intelligence from these individuals, possibly not just the people, but their electronic devices, to better understand how the cell was operating and use this to try and identify other cells operating around the region. And I think there's possibly going to be a shift away from human espionage and more towards sabotage, particularly of undersea and energy infrastructure in the coming few months, especially in this region. If their human intelligence agents are being locked up or detained, it's possibly they'll shift towards more standoff operations that we've seen in other parts of Europe, where they're using individuals outside of the country to recruit agents to conduct sabotage. And next, Russia's top court has banned a leading opposition anti-war party from contesting an upcoming vote. They've stripped it of the right to be in the field of candidates. The authorities cast the ruling as a legal technicality, but it removes one of the few remaining organised voices against the war in Ukraine from the ballot. The move fits a long pattern of the Kremlin dismantling political opposition ahead of elections. So what? I don't think anyone should be surprised by this ruling, as it's almost certainly designed to guarantee that there's a managed vote with no genuine challenges. This has been the way Russia has been run for numerous years now. Further bans and prosecutions of opposition figures before the vote remains highly likely, particularly if anyone talks out against the government or the war. And remaining anti-war activism is likely to shift abroad or underground rather than disappear altogether. Though I think it's possible that there will be a controlled anti-war narrative kept within the country to try and just maintain that guise that people have a choice within the country, though I don't think many people believe it at this point. And lastly, a US federal appeals court has cleared the way for thousands of lawsuits accusing major social media companies of designing addictive products that harm young users. The consolidated cases target platforms including Meta, TikTok, Snapchat, and YouTube, alleging that their features drive compulsive use and worsening mental health among minors. The ruling strips away a key legal shield that the companies had sought and pursues the litigation towards trial. So what? I think the platforms will almost certainly face years of costly discovery and heavy reputational exposure following this ruling. As they go to trial, a lot more things will become public, as is the way litigation goes. However, I do think large financial settlements will be struck to try and avoid trials, especially jury trials, where they will be exposed publicly. It's possible they'll just try and pay their way out of it, as is pretty common within corporate America. And I think there'll be new design changes and age safeguards rolled out ahead of any regulation to try and avoid, over-regulating social media and really destroying their products. Just ask covering, basically. There's lots of evidence that shows that these companies have known for years that their products are harmful towards children and that they've just been ignoring it. So, yeah, not really ideal. I hope they pay the costs. But anyway, that's been the Intel Brief. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you again tomorrow. See you.